What's up, fam? My name is Evan Morsell, and I want to welcome you back to the Black to Business series. Now, this is episode 3. We're coming off of a dynamic 2-part interview with Chef G.W. Chu, where he really dropped gems of information on how to own your niche and how to create a successful product. Today, I introduce you to my friend, Chef Mimi. She's also from the Oakland Bay area, and she has also done amazing things within the culinary space. Just an example of what her work looks like is she's created a boutique catering company, which they create the best brunches. If you think DMV brunch is a thing, I'm sorry. Chef Mimi has taken it to another level. She also has reinvented soul food with what she calls Soul Food 2.0, which is a very interesting twist on what we understand soul food to be. And last but not least, she has her own TV show, and it's called Bringing It to the Table. And I can't wait to share that with you guys. Let's hop into my interview with Chef Mimi.
Can you give us a little bit of your background and what your accomplishments have been and where you got started?
So let's see, 1995, I graduated from the San Francisco Culinary Arts Academy. I had a dream of being a chef as a little Black girl growing up in the Bay Area. I was exposed to a lot of different types of foods. I mean, there was urban gardens on our street. We had a co-op in Berkeley. My mom and dad were both vegetarians. So they were very creative with the types of foods that were cooked in the house. So just the whole food experience started when I was 5 years old, and my mother had created gravy out of oil, flour, and water. It was almost like a science, It was the science of like standing there at 5, watching her, put the oil in, then put the flour in and watching something white turn brown, and then seeing all the smoke coming up, and then seeing her pour the water and stir it real fast. I was like, wow, how does she do that? And add the seasonings to it. I just became really, really fascinated with food at that moment.
Can you tell us a little about what you do as a chef? For example, I know you have a speaking engagement today. When I think of chefs, I don't always think of speaking engagements. What encompasses Chef Mimi?
So on my journey, I realized that I had to be more than a chef. So with that comes, I have a catering company. It's a boutique company. I also do events. That's what you were at, the Black Food and Wine Experience.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. I do brunching with Chef Mimi, which is like a super turn-up brunch, music, DJ, having a good time, fun, food, and then also share the platform with other African-American chefs. The Urban Food Experience, and I also have Bring It to the Table. So Bring It to the Table is the first African-American culinary competition that showcases the talent of African-American chefs, wine vendors, foodies, and anybody who wants to join us in our cultural experience. We show it through food.
Excellent. Now, you're doing a lot of things, and you're only one person. How did you build up to this, and what is the importance of diversifying what you do as a chef for our future prospective chefs out there?
So for me, diversity and inclusion in the food space is my top priority. One of the things that I want to showcase is that African American chefs cook more than just soul food and barbecue, and some of the stigmas that come from our culture here in America. A lot of Black people got out of the culinary space and out of the service jobs because we had did that for so long for free. And so now, there's millions and millions hashtag of food. People are more into food. We're traveling more, we're exploring more, and our health really, really depends on it. So that's another piece, is to be able to showcase food that we love and have a very different opportunity to try different products that definitely speak to our health.
So you shared something with me on the phone called Soul Food 2.0. What does that upgrade mean?
So I'd say about 3 months ago, I just was thinking about like my brand, the Chef Mimi Incorporated brand, and what it all means and where I want to go with this brand overall, with Black chefs, wine, Black winemakers, events, content, and catering. And so I decided, Soul Food 2.0 would be something that we can identify with as African Americans in this country, but it also takes it to another level. And that level is something that we need to explore based on the fact that some of the foods that we're eating are not as healthy as it needs to be. So Soul Food 2.0 takes us on a culinary journey. It's a fusion of all the foods throughout the entire diaspora that definitely gives us an identity. So we have here in this country an identity of soul food. However, we have foods that represent us throughout the world. So you got influences from Africa and Puerto Rico. You've got the entire continent of Africa. We've got food influence in the Bahamas, Caribbean, Haiti, all over the world. And so we're not just soul food, American soul food. We are soul food, and we bring soul to our food from all over the diaspora and all over the world. So it's a fusion.
That's good. So if I'm a young chef, right? If I'm a black chef that just gets out of culinary school, what are some of the first things that I need to do to separate myself from all the competition? Because it's a very well saturated market to my understanding. How can you be different? How can you be great? What do we need to do from the beginning?
So if you are starting out as a chef, I would say do a stage and learn from other chefs. No matter what nationality they are, you can learn all different types of techniques. And not only do you have to become a working chef, you can be a content creator, you can tell different stories, you can work in urban gardens. There are so many things that you can do in this space that is not just, picking up a knife and cutting something every single day or serving people. So one of the things is you want to define who you are. Who are you as a chef? Who do you want to be? How do you want to get to the next level, and what does the journey take? So one of it is dedication. And I would always say, for African Americans, we bear a stigma in the food space. So for any of the new chefs that are coming out there, I would say, train hard, work hard, and let's break down some of these barriers that we see, because we be clowning sometime in the kitchen. We be going to the restaurants and we ain't got this and we ain't got that, or this person, the menu's not right or the service isn't right, so we got to start within our own backyards and fix some of the things and have meaningful conversation about who are we in this industry and where do we want to go in the industry and how do we get there. And there are definitely tools. There are mentorships. There are you have the BCA, which is the Culinary Alliance in New York. You have the African American Culinary Chefs Alliance. I mean, there's tons of chefs on social media. So find the chefs, not those just Instagram chefs that are just like picking a picture of food, but someone that can be a really good mentor to you and give you the direction. And just be ready and open to learn, and not just learning in the kitchen, but learning outside of the kitchen. Look at the service, look at what you want, look at the food styles. I mean, this is the best time to enter the food space right now, because there's so much opportunity, and we only represent right now less than 1% of the entire industry in terms of, managing and having our own stuff. And so that's a missed opportunity, because it's $1 trillion industry. And we need to be able to create our own product. Matter of fact, I went to the Natural Food Conference this year, and there were over 15,000 vendors, and only out of those vendors, there were only like 3 or 4 African Americans. So that means that we're not producing our own food. We're not in those spaces where we have control over the things that we're doing. And so that's why, for me, I'm sharing the space with bringing it to the table and the events that I do with other African American chefs, so that we can showcase that we do have product, we do have great service, we do have restaurants, we have wine, we have all kind of stuff that represents this industry, but we gotta come as a collective.
Can you elaborate on coming together as a collective, and specifically what you're doing as far as putting together the Black Food and Wine Experience? That was the 3rd year, I believe.
Yes.
And it's grown exponentially every year. Can you talk about how to make something like that happen? Because if I recall correctly, You were a team of you. It was one person that put together an event that had almost 400 people, which is it's extremely impressive.
There's really no blueprint for the African American food and wine experience. So I'm creating this experience as I go along by exploring other events that I've gone to that weren't necessarily geared towards our community and adding a spin to it that makes it culturally and fun, you know. And so we grew from a 100 event, seated event that we did in 2015. 2016, we had another event, and that was close to 200. 2017, we had about the same amount, maybe about 220. And now this one, we had over 400. And we had tons of people that weren't able to get tickets. So we definitely could do an event for 1,000 people. And just to be able to see that need, and it was literally like 400 of the dopest Black professionals in Oakland, where there's a lot of stigma around, you know, Black people not doing this and that. Under one roof, nothing was bad about the event at all. Everything was amazing. People were patient. All the chefs were amazing. And then that culinary competition set it off, where Chef Chauncey ended up being the winner for $2,000. So I think, you know, being able to get the sponsors and have people understand that this is a need. So we want to give thanks to Uber and Hyatt for that, and the and the Coalition of Black Excellence, who's another organization that represents Black excellency. And so we partnered together to bring this event to Oakland as an on the road to CBE Week, which is going to be a week-long event that represents Black excellence.
You mentioned some big names there: Uber, Hyatt, and Cultural Black Excellence. What are those sponsors? Because everyone wants to get sponsored. You know, what are they looking for from a brand like yourself to then go forward and sponsor events like this? Like, what did you have to show them to get their support?
So under the Coalition of Black Excellence, it's a nonprofit organization that's a collective of about 40 to 50 African Americans, professional African Americans that volunteer their time to bring us all together and to have different experiences. So that was the first thing in terms of getting the funding, was that there was a collective of different things that will happen throughout the CBE week. But on the road to CBE week, there was funds that were given to this particular event. And so I basically pitched the event and, you know, wrote a proposal and was able to get to partner with Coalition of Black Excellence, and then we were able to get the funding from Uber and the Hyatt to move forward.
Chef Mimi did her thing, guys. Listen, she dropped so much information that is actionable and valuable. And I'm just gonna go straight into the 3 key points that I pulled from the conversation. Chef Mimi discusses how we need to diversify our skill sets. She expressed how, you know, it's 2019, we're in a digital era. Just being good at what you do is not good enough. You need to be able to leverage your content in a social space. You need to be able to excel in pop-up events and in events like the Black Food and Wine Experience, where Chef Chauncey, you know, he showed up. He showed out and he won $2,000. I mean, you have to be able to master your craft so you can literally perform and excel anywhere and everywhere. The second point is that you want to have an openness and a willingness to collaboration. Chef Mimi's not hesitant to put on someone else's t-shirt, she said, or to open a box and to just help out. One of my friends in Philly recently shared with me that a candle loses nothing at all by lighting another candle. So that's something to think about there. And the last point is that we're in a $1 trillion industry here. And Chef Mimi shared that we only make up less than 1% of that space. That's way too much real estate to leave on the table, especially when you look at all of the history and all of the culinary experience and expertise that our people have, right? Like, we need to own what we've created. We need to master what we've created, and we need to re-engineer it like Chef Mimi is with Soul Food 2.0, where maybe some of the recipes are not that healthy, right? Southern cuisine often has high fat, high carb, you know what it is, but being able to provide an alternative option that's how you continue to make the wheel more efficient instead of re-innovating the wheel or reinventing the wheel. And that's definitely something that, you know, it's a food for thought. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm grateful for all the comments, for all the engagement, for all the shares, my Facebook community. Oh my goodness, guys, I truly appreciate what's going on there. And I'm just excited for tomorrow. This series so far is just igniting a fire within me to take my personal work and, you know, to do continued series of this nature in the future. So until tomorrow, until we meet again, 2:30 p.m. Just keep living your blessed life, and I wish you all the best. All right, God bless. Peace.